out loud. Panama Red told the Queen of Brazil, ooh, I love you. I've loved you since I was a sailor. We'll go down to Rio, we'll rob us a bank, and sail off to Paris in splendor. They will be some mighty big spenders. Abandoned and alone, they were easily prone to get into trouble for money. And honky-tonk dreams, they rehearse their scenes and rewrite them all in their favor. Rewrite them all in their favor. Minnie the Mo said to Kokomo Joe, ooh, I'm bored and I'm broke, and I've run out of whiskey and honey. Red knows a bank down in Rio that's right, where we can fill our pockets with money. They will be some mighty big spenders. Abandoned and alone, they were easily prone to get into trouble for money. In honky-tonk dreams, they rehearse their scenes and rewrite them all in their favor. Rewrite them all in their favor. Madame Kazoo said to St. Louis Lou, ooh, tell Panama Red, I think that's the last train to Rio. The Topeka Kid had a hole in his lid. They say that he once rode with Pancho when Pancho was a mighty big spender. A viva via, viva via, viva Pancho via, viva Pancho via. Viva via, viva via, viva Pancho via, viva Pancho via. Viva via, viva Pancho via. Viva via, viva Pancho via. You know, they never did go. Ooh, they kept on drinking and they never even left the cantina. El Presidente de la Banca Brazil, he never even lost him a penny. Hey, he's still a mighty big spender. The president's a mighty big spender. Abandoned and alone, they were easily prone to get into trouble for money. In honky-tonk dreams, they rehearse their scenes and rewrite them all in their favor. Rewrite them all in their favor. Viva via, viva via, viva Pancho via, viva Pancho via. Viva via, viva Pancho via. Viva via, viva Pancho via. Viva via, viva Pancho via.
Viva Pancho Villa. That's Hoyt Axton. What do you think of that one, George?
Well, I have actually been to the spot where Pancho Villa invaded the United States.
Oh, really?
It's in Columbus, New Mexico. And it's the dumpiest town I ever saw, and I don't think that Pancho would have ever played that music, but that music sounded pretty appropriate to Columbus, New Mexico.
There you go. We have a great time at the Winter SWL Fest every year. It only happens once a year. In fact, I've been some of the folks that we have regulars here, the regular listeners to Cyber Shortwave Live. P. Costello, Mark Fine, Big Steve Cole, Jennifer, Tom Sundstrom, and Raybo, Wien from the Netherlands, Mark Veldhuis from the Netherlands are regular listeners here. And I've got a few emails that says that it said that this is kind of like almost like the Winter SWL Fest, 52 weeks a year. For some crazy reason, the internet service provider dropped us. George, I don't know. Any idea what that was all about?
Yes, that was the program of The Voice of Dead Air.
You know, they kind of like have a little programmer. When they detect no activity, they drop you. Now, I hope that's not a reflection on you or me here.
Well, that's so people have said I was lazy, but I didn't know that how true it was.
DJ Stevie is in there. He says, "Wicked, wicked, man, wicked." So there's a lot of stuff. We do this, like I said, George, every other week here during the summer. And the thing we do, the important thing is that it's live, and we don't edit this out and make it real slick and fine and refined, because we're not really restricted to time limits. We don't have a half hour. You know, usually we go around 2 hours. I've gone up to 3 hours in the past. On Netcast, on you know, when we just had a lot of listeners and stuff, and just didn't want to drop the server and that. But so this is all, it's all in fun, and certainly having you here today is been a welcome addition here, and nice to get a chance to sit here and chat with you. Certainly we haven't even scratched the surface or begun to talk about a lot of things, but we're going to have to do this again real soon in the future, George.
Well, that sounds good, and like I said, I have been on radio and TV a lot, but this is a pleasant experience compared to that, because let's say you do go on for a half hour. I remember the first time I went on the radio, I said, what am I going to say for a whole half an hour? Or for 5 minutes, or if you're on TV, you've got about 30 seconds, and so you have to think of everything you're going to say in advance and come up with the sound bites, and this is not like that, so it's a refreshing change of pace, I must say. Yeah,
and the interaction in Internet Relay Chat really makes this whole thing come alive. When I first started this, actually it was Pete Costello who first told me about this live365.com netcast, where you can netcast, about a year ago. Of course, we shut the Anarch SWL net down April 25th or so of 1999, and George, things were going downhill like a snowball. We were going to hell in a handbag over there because of many things that were happening. I'm sure you know some of them that we don't need to get into now, but it was also the lack of participation. Now, some people blamed the internet. Some people blamed a lot of the jammers and stuff that were happening there on the frequency. I think it's probably a combination of both. But it was just you know, it got to be right there at the end where there was myself and Al and Charlie N4LE, who was a gateway, and then Bill WA2DV, and that was about it. That was about the four of us, you know. And Al and I were struggling for material for the net. The loggings were still coming in from the shortwave listeners via email, but there was personally, I had a problem with getting on and talking for 20 minutes or a half an hour on the ham bands, because George, the ham bands are designed for two-way communication. And you have to have another. You can't broadcast, and broadcasting is defined as, you know, a one-way communication. The ham bands are designed for two-way communication. You need to have, and I guess if you want to get technical, if there's more than one person, you know, on frequency that you're talking to, that is considered two-way communication. I just didn't think. I thought it was. You know, wasting space in the ham bands. So we decided to shut the net down about a year and a half ago or so, and then we picked up this thing on the internet. We did a few recorded real audio shows, and then Pete Costello, as I had mentioned, told me about this live365.com thing, which we started on August the 31st last year. And it's been going pretty good. You know, several of the folks are fairly regular listeners here, and it gives the people a place or a forum, if you will. And it's not it is two-way because you can interact in Internet Relay Chat Channel SWL. I'm waiting for the time when the technology advances to the point where the folks on the Internet, everyone who might want to listen to this netcast can communicate like you and I are doing, or like we used to do on the Anarch SWL net.
Well, let me comment on one thing you said there, Dave. It might seem odd coming from a guy like me who's a big proponent of pirate radio. And part of the problem that you have in the ham bands nowadays are people doing broadcasting, which, as you say, is no good in the ham bands. But I have known many scores of pirates over the years, and the pirates that we have on shortwave are in full agreement with this philosophy that the ham bands are for two-way communication and for what the ham bands are supposed to be there for. You'll notice that 99.9% of the pirates stay out of the ham bands on purpose and very pristinely. They do everything they can to do that. So I got to agree with you. The people that are going on the ham bands and playing music and QRMing other people and causing all kinds of havoc, I don't understand it, and neither do the pirates, even though they're not licensed either.
How has here's a question for you. How has pirate radio in the specifically in the United States changed in the last couple of years now that FCC Chief Enforcer Riley Hollingsworth has been cracking down on pirates? What is the pirate activity statewise compared now within the last year or two as compared to like 10 years ago or so?
That's a very interesting question, and you got to go at 2 or 3 different levels to answer that properly. There has been an overt crackdown on FM pirates. The whole issue of the low-powered FM broadcasting, which the FCC has gone through the process on recently, as most of us are aware, that really caused the FCC to go out with hammers and go all around the country to shut down FM stations, and they had a lot of work on their hands. FM pirates were bursting up like mushrooms everywhere you looked. We had here in Cleveland 5 of them on the air simultaneously for a period of about a year and a half. I couldn't believe it. 3 of them were commercial stations. They were all Hispanic pirates. There are no Hispanic stations in Cleveland, so 3 guys went out and got FM transmitters and were putting signals out that you could get pretty well all over the city of Cleveland. I don't know if they get all the way out to where you are, Dave.
Oh yes, George. I heard them out here. I heard them many times. The Puerto Rican station or whatever it was, they're at 90.7 FM.
Yes, there were 3 of them, and everybody knew where they were. Once I found they were on, of course, I drove around a little bit to find out where they were, and it was easy to DF them. But they left them alone for a long time. It made Bob Conrad, who's the general manager at WCLV, the classical music FM station here in Cleveland, he was livid. He was writing letters to the editor, appearing on television and complaining, and going up to Detroit and banging on the door of the FCC and so forth, that he couldn't understand it. And all of a sudden, the plane dealer couldn't buy enough paper and ink to print the bus notices. They went around and shut all of them down, and this was going on nationwide. FM pirates were appearing everywhere, and as fast as they would appear, they'd shut them down. But that's all on the FM side.
Well, I saw that pirate station on several newscasts. They actually had them, on the local newscasts. They were showing the station and they were telling the frequency. I mean, it's like you're advertising to get busted.
Yes, but they weren't busting them. They just let them operate, and don't ask me. I'm not in charge of the FCC. I don't know why they do what they do. But then all of a sudden they did crack down in a very heavy-handed fashion and shut down literally over 1,000 of them all across the country. And now everything I've said so far is on the FM side, though. The stations that we DX on shortwave, that's a different breed of people, and it's very interesting in my experience. The people that are operating the FM pirates and the people doing the shortwave pirates are 2 completely different set of people. They don't interact with each other. I'm involved with ACE, the Association of Clandestine Enthusiasts, and of course with Monitoring Times also, and I had some interest to see what I could